This is the Average to Savage podcast with Paul Guarino. Everyone and anyone, athletes, celebs, and much more.
What's up, everybody? I'm back for another episode of the Average Savage podcast. Our special guest today is Adam Erne. Adam, how's it going?
Good. How are you, man?
Good. Appreciate you coming on. You're my first NHL guest, so I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm ready for it.
Yeah. So let's go back in time. Could you remember your first memory of playing hockey?
I can't remember my first memory of playing hockey, but I started so young. I started at 2-3 years old. I was on the ice. My dad played for Fairfield Prep. He was a goalie. He played with Chris and Ted Drury. So I really grew up in hockey, and that's actually the only sport I've ever played. I never played any other sports growing up. I played hockey all year round, probably more in the summer than I did in the winter. So I've always loved it, and I fell in love with it, right from the beginning.
Yeah, that's dope. I mean, I guess that's why you're an NHL player now.
Probably.
Yeah, and then take me through your high school days, and then I saw I know you grew up in Connecticut, but you moved out to California.
Yeah, so I didn't really go to high school around Connecticut. When I was 13, I left and went to play for a team out in LA, the LA Selects. That was really my first experience with high quality coaching. Before that, around here, I was high talent player. So coaches were more or less just saying, stay on the ice, blah blah blah. But when I went out there, it was a high end team. So I had to learn how to play defense, systems, stuff like that. So that was my first exposure to really learning more about the game of hockey. And we did private lessons every day. So that's where my game really grew. And then from there, I played in the USHL as an underager in Indiana. I spent a year there, and then at 16, I went to Quebec for 4 years and played for the Ramparts there from 16 to 19. I was drafted while I was playing there to Tampa in the second round. And then from there, I played a year and a half in Syracuse in the minors, played in Tampa for a few years, and now I'm in Detroit.
Gotcha. Now let's go back. Did your family just move to California, or did you get recruited?
I actually went out there by myself. I went and lived with a kid on our team. Okay. He's actually still playing in the NHL. His name's Eric Comrie. His brother played for a while for Edmonton, a bunch of teams in the league. They took me in. It was an awesome experience. We lived out in Newport Beach. It was, it was the good life for 2 years. My parents came and visited once in a while, but I got recruited. I think it was in a summer tournament. Someone approached my dad, one of the coaches, and originally he was kind of like, nah, I don't think so. But, once we got to learn more about the organization, the players, and, what it had to offer, it ended up being a really good decision.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy to think because just Northeast hockey is usually up there, and then you go to LA, so it's the opposite.
I know it's not what you'd think, but if you look at some of the guys in the NHL, there's a lot of guys coming out of those California areas now. A lot of them grow up playing roller hockey, and they get really skilled, and they transfer over to the ice, and sometimes it just translates well. It's a different game, but they get the really good hands and the feel for the game. So we had a really, really talented team. We had a few guys from around the country, but a lot of guys from California, and I know they were proud of that.
What about what was your recruiting process like to go
for going to LA?
No, for college.
For college, I actually didn't go to college. I committed to BU when I was 13 or 14. I committed to BU, and I never really thought about going anywhere else. I just wasn't exposed to the junior hockey in Canada. But when I was in the USHL at 15, Patrick Waugh actually called my agent or my dad. I can't remember. He was like, just come up. I want to talk to you guys about it. If you don't like it, don't worry about it. If you want to come, we'll make it work. And I ended up going there, and I was 15, and I went to a game over my Christmas break, and it's 15,000 people and all these kids that had already been drafted, and I just kind of fell in love with it. I was always good in school. I never loved school, so going up there, I knew school was going to be a little bit easier going. We did online. We went two-way school, but the teachers helped us through an online program. So we didn't spend near as much time at school. We usually went to school from like 1 in the afternoon to 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Like it wasn't too bad. And then we didn't have to go on game days. So, the online curriculum is more at your own pace. So it was built around hockey, and everything we did was around hockey. We'd practice all morning. We'd be at the rink all morning. Everyone lives with a billet family. So you live with a family from Quebec, which was awesome for me. I got lucky. I had an amazing family. I'm still friends with them. They were at my wedding party. I think that can make or break your experience too, as a player. If you have a bad billet family, you don't really enjoy your time, but mine was amazing. Awesome family. Could never thank them enough. They made my time amazing. And so I had a great time up there. I mean, I really developed my game. Again, it was like taking it to the next level of going from playing against kids your own age. Then I went to Indiana, which was probably what I would consider maybe a step below the CHL, where I ended up playing in Canada, just because, once you get drafted, a lot of guys go to the NHL, they can come back and go play in juniors. You can't do that in the USHL. So you might have a bit of higher end players in the CHL. So once I got exposed to that, it was pretty crazy, playing against guys like Couturier, and there's just such a good group of older guys that I got to play at 16. So it was a good experience.
Yeah, definitely. What about like what age were you that you like knew you were like elite and like could go to the NHL?
I mean, I think my dad knew it long before I did. I mean, I always just had so much fun with it. I mean, probably my underage. I mean, in LA, I think we were such a good team that it was kind of obvious that a lot of us were going to, go far in hockey. I mean, we didn't know how far, but I think a lot of guys from that team ended up playing at least, D1. I think almost everybody did. But, probably going to the USHL as an underage, it's not very common. So once I was able to do that, you would hope that, you could take it to the next level after that. Yeah, so I got drafted in 2013. I went to the draft. It was in Jersey. I was 33rd to Tampa. So I went back and played another year in Quebec when I was 19. And then you can play in the minors when you're 20. So when I was 20, I played in Syracuse for a full season. 21, I played a half a season there, and then I got called up to Tampa. I did the same thing as 21. And then 22 and 23, I played full seasons in Tampa. And then I got traded to Detroit last season, so I played there the whole year, and then this will be, crazily enough, my 5th year.
Yeah, I mean, like hockey, the hockey journey, like compared to like different like other sports, is just crazy. Just because like you pretty much, I feel like you almost been a pro like longer than you have because of all the experiences like you just talked about.
Yeah, no, for sure. Junior hockey's like, again, like it's like pro hockey. I think that's the difference. That's one of the reasons I wanted to go, was because you play 68 games in a season, whereas in college, you play maybe 30 games. You practice every morning. I think the schedule, looking back, the schedule in junior hockey is just so much more like professional hockey compared to college. I mean, to be honest, if I had a kid, I'd probably send him to college. I think there's more benefits to going to college. I have to get into detail about that as far as, you can hold out, whatnot. But I think technically it might make a little more sense now to go to college. But I think experience wise, I wouldn't change it. I think I grew as a person. You learn to be on your own. Especially for me in Quebec is a different language. I had such a good experience there learning about that culture. I met my wife there, my first season actually. So, I think it's going to be hard to beat those 4 years anytime in my career in the future. I had so much fun. I still go back there. Not just to see my wife's family, but my billets and coaches and whatnot. And that place will always have a place in my heart for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and then going back to the draft, like you got drafted in the second round, 33 overall. Like, were you projected in the first round? Were you like, was that high or low for you? Were you like?
I was projected somewhere right at that end of the first round, beginning of the second round. I was kind of right where I was projected to be. Obviously, I was, hoping to be in the first round, but as everyone is. But yeah, that was kind of right in the mix of where I was projected to be.
Gotcha. And then what about? Just tell me about like your first NHL game. What was that experience like?
That was it was awesome. I think the best part about it was that I got to share it with my family and my buddies were able to make it to the game. My dad, my mom, my sister, my brother all made it to the game. My best buddy Lewis made it to the game. So everyone kind of helped me along the way, and I know that as amazing as it was for me, I know everybody kind of felt a sense of accomplishment watching me play my first game, knowing that they played a big part in helping me get there.
All right, I know you remember your first goal. You got to take me through it. Who did you score against?
I scored against Murray in Pittsburgh. We actually ended up losing the game like 6-1, but luckily I scored early in the game, so it was still exciting. But no, it was amazing. Actually, I think Nemesnikov passed it to me, who actually just traded for here in Detroit. So no, it was an amazing feeling. Nothing like my first game, actually. My first game, I was, you never forget that, but my first goal is always something I'll remember for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And then, yes, like you mentioned, you got traded to Detroit last year. What's the experience been like just playing for the Red Wings, just a historical team?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fans here, it's hockey town. I mean, it's they love their hockey. Unfortunately, we weren't as good as we would hope to have been last year. But I knew that coming into it, that they were going to rebuild phase. It was a little different for me coming from Tampa when we were, in a first place team, going to a last place team. But, that's what I signed up for. I knew it was a rebuild team, looking for a little more opportunity. And, the guys are great here. The coaches are great. It's definitely a first class organization.
Yeah, for sure. And then what's training camp been like, and like what are your expectations for this season?
Yeah, training camp surprisingly has been a little bit lighter than past years. I think because our coaches and staff are a little nervous about guys going down with injuries so early, and camp being shorter than it has been in the past, and then us playing so many games in so few days once the season starts. So we've been really going over systems. We scrimmaged yesterday. Just trying to put ourselves in the best position to play Carolina on the 14th and be ready for the start of the season. I think we made some great moves in the offseason. I think we're definitely going to be a lot more competitive this year. I'm thinking we're going to surprise some teams for sure. I think we all have a little chip on our shoulder from last year. It was not fun. I think we all know, work ethic wasn't our problem last year. It was just we were rebuilding. It's just kind of the way it went last year, and we're trying to leave it behind us and push for a good year this year. We have a really good division. It's going to be really challenging for us, but I think we're all up for it.
Yeah, definitely. What advice would you give to like a younger hockey player trying to make pro league?
Have fun. I think it becomes a job before you know it. And just like anything else, nobody likes going to work every single day. I don't want to go to the rink every single day. I don't want to go to the gym in the summer every day. So I think the longer you can have fun with it and enjoy it, the better you're going to get. I think, everybody wants to, I feel like if I don't feel like I have to go to the rink, I want to go more. When somebody's told they have to do something, they don't want to do it. But I think the more you can have fun with it and just enjoy going to the rink, the better you're going to get.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I want to congratulate you because I know you had another kid. This is your second one, right?
This is my second one, yeah.
So how is like fatherhood changed you?
I think it's helped me because I don't do a great job of leaving hockey at the rink. I'd like to bring my mental problems home, and I'm not great at talking about everything. It just kind of weighs heavy on me. And when I come home now, I come home to them and just forget about everything that happens at the rink and just enjoy them and really able to separate the two a lot better now. They take my mind off hockey and whatever's going on. So, I mean, it's amazing. 2 kids in the same year, not twins, is kind of unheard of as well. So, super happy, love them to death, and probably going to put a halt on things for a while.
Yeah, for sure. Are you gonna have them play hockey?
I'm gonna let them do whatever they want to do. I'm sure they probably will. Watching me play,
Yeah.
I'll fully support that. But whatever they want to do is fine with me.
For sure. All right, you ready for some fun questions? Average savage questions.
Absolutely.
All right, what's your favorite song right now?
Ooh, I am a big old school country guy.
Right.
I think my favorite artist is George Strait, so I really like the old school stuff. I like everything though, to be honest. Probably some of the new Luke Combs stuffs is what I've been into recently. But favorite current song is "What's Your Country Song" by Thomas Rhett.
All right. I don't know it, but I'm gonna check it out. What do you like to do in your free time?
I'm a big golfer. I love to golf. I love to watch football and play golf.
All right, who's your football team?
Who's ever on my fantasy team, man.
All
I'm
right.
a big fantasy guy. I really got into it because of fantasy. So I love the players. I never really got attached to a single team.
I like
My buddy's a diehard Chiefs fan. He always has been. So if I was to pick a team, I guess I'd say the Chiefs.
I gotta ask you then, any Super Bowl predictions?
I mean, it's hard to think anybody's going to take down the Chiefs. It's hard to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think this year has been like crazy. Like, there's so many teams with like 11, 10 wins. Like, it's
great. I know it's good. It's good for the game.
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't be surprised though if somehow Tom Brady pulled it off. I'm not even a Tom Brady fan. I'm just saying.
He's the GOAT for a reason. I will give you that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What about what's like? Do you have any like pregame rituals?
I wouldn't say rituals as much as like I like to do the same thing every game day. Like I always have the same meal at lunch. I always nap at the same time, get to the rink around the same time. I just like to do everything in the same order more than exactly what I like to do. I've always kind of done things the same way, and I just try to keep it like that.
What about how did you pick your jersey number?
That is probably when I was like 11. My grandfather passed away. He was 73 years old, so I always wore 73.
Oh, that's dope. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and could you good luck this season, and could you let the listeners know where they can follow you on social media?
Yeah, just my name, Adam Erne, on Instagram, and I think Twitter is Adam Erne 73.